Welcome, wrestling fans, to Lanksports.com. I'm Matt Blindmeyer, joined by Dave Byrne. We're here to give you your 2009-2010 LL League Wrestling Preview. Dave, two big changes in the LL League this year. Let's first talk about the big coaching move. Troy Sutherland comes from Penn State to Mannheim Central. Troy spent 11 seasons at Penn State, winning a Coach of the Year award, and he replaces Shane Mack, who had one state champion and two runners-up. Dave, you were able to talk to Troy. What was his thought process in coming from Penn State to Mannheim Central of all places?
Well, his wife got a job in the Mannheim Central School District, and it was just a good time to follow her, and the position kind of opened, and it was just kind of like synergistic that everything fell into place. Troy's very familiar with the LL League from having recruited here. He's recruited a lot of LL athletes to wrestle for Penn State, including a pair of NCAA national runners-up in Pat Cummins from Warwick and Aaron Ansbach from Columbia. Aaron's still there at Penn State as an assistant to the new coach, K.L. Sanderson.
This would have to be, I would imagine, the biggest name coaching-wise in all of LL sports. I can't recall anybody going from a program of that magnitude to the LL League. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. He'll definitely bring a different perspective to the league, I think, and to the coaching in the league.
The second big move in the LL League this year is Warwick's Antonio Giorgio, who finished fifth last season at 215 after a runner-up finish at 189 as a sophomore. He will now go back to 189. 7 of the 8 finishers at 215 last year were underclassmen, which may have played a role in him going to 189. Dave was able to talk to him actually today. What were his thoughts?
Yeah, I think the 7 of the 8 guys being back had a little bit to do with it, including the kid from Selinsgrove who beat him in the semifinals last year, returning. And the other thing Antonio said, was by the state tournament he was weighing out at 204. His opponents up at States were weighing 218, and it was easy to give weight away early in the season when he was going 210, 211. But by the end of the year, you're in shape, and there's not much weight left to lose. He just felt he was giving up way too much weight, and he felt if he could get to 89, he started the process shortly after States was over. He thought if he could get to 89 and felt good, he'd try it and see how it felt, and he thinks he's at a pretty good place.
And we were talking about this before we started. He has never really had to suck down weight in any of his career. Is that a concern for him as he heads into the season?
Well, it's this year is a year of changes for Antonio because he's really stressing the work ethic this year. He's working more, working harder. He is cutting weight for probably the first time in his high school career. And he's holding it and feeling pretty good at this point. And I think you're going to see a different Antonio out there.
And speaking of Giorgio, he is a Warwick Warrior who the team finished 7-0 last year, won Section 1. That may not be the case this season. Dave is doing the Section 1 previews. Dave, who is the team to beat in Section 1 this season?
I think Solanco is going to be the team to beat. They're young, but they've got a lot of talent. And right now, they're a little deeper than all the other perennial powers in the section, like Warwick and like Hempfield. I think Solanco is really the team to beat in the section.
And we'll get a preview of that Thursday?
Thursday, yep.
They travel to Warwick, or Warwick travels?
Warwick travels to Quarryville and hosts an early showdown.
So Section 1 championship possibly this early in the season.
Yeah, before the Christmas.
In Section 2 last year, the highest placing finisher was Shane Rosenberry from E-Town. He finished 5th at 189 for the Section 2 champion Bears. Dave, who is the team to beat in Section 2 this season?
Bears.
Again.
Section 2 is probably going to look a lot like last year. I think all 3 sections, if you liked last year, you're going to love this year because I think it's going to play out the same way. E-Town just really is on the upswing right now. They've got numbers, they've got talent. Jeremy Rivera just won championship at the Top Hat tournament over the weekend. And Garden Spot will push them, but Garden Spot's young. They're about a year away.
In Section 3, the highest placing finisher was Mike Blasik from Lancaster Catholic. He is gone. He was a senior, as well as Rosenberry is gone. Section 3, I was doing those previews. Last season, Anvil and Elko tied for the Section 3 championship, and it looks like Anvil-Cleona is the team to beat again this season. Talking to some of the coaches, they feel Anvil, possibly Donegal, who had won 4 previous before that. Now, Donegal and Anvil face off January 14th at Donegal, so that will probably tell what team is going to win Section 3. Dave, who are some wrestlers we need to look out for overall in the league this season?
Well, besides Giorgio, Dan Neff of Solanco, who went to states last year, looking real good early on. Hopefully he won't peak too early. And Hempfield's Austin Miller, he really hasn't stopped wrestling since states last year. I mean, he did the summer circuit, and he went right into the fall circuit. And I know I was talking to assistant coach Greg Bervinchak earlier in the fall at a football game, and he was hoping that Austin wasn't going to leave his best wrestling in the fall before you get to the big show. But those 3 almost certainly will be in the postseason. The bunch of young kids, the league is skewing younger every year, and it could be fun to watch.
And of course, for all your wrestling needs, pick up a daily newspaper, the Sunday News. Also go to lanksports.com. Dave has a blog called Ringside Ramblings for some reason. We're not quite sure how the name got there, but either way, it's on the website. Go to lanksports.com, bottom right, click on Ringside Ramblings. We will be back in the newspaper, Dave and I. Dave will be covering the CV Holiday Tournament in 2 weeks. I will be at the Mannheim Central Holiday Tournament, so pick up the paper and log on to see information on both of those tournaments. That's all we have for now. We may be back, hopefully, for district preview and state previews come next season. For Dave Byrne, I'm Matt Blymeyer. Thanks for watching.